Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today's episode is a milestone. Actually, I don't know if our guest knows this. She is the first repeat guest on Harmonious at Lunch ever, episode 306. Lenora, how are you?
I am great, Brandon. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited to have you back. You were on this show roughly 10 months ago, if memory serves.
Probably.
And a lot has changed since then. But now it's the new year, at least at the time of this episode going live. A little fun fact, it's actually still December as we're recording this. But we're going to talk about how to actually make progress towards your New Year's goals, because most people don't. And we have some fun stats for you too. But this is a cool topic. Is it weird to talk about this in December, about New Year's resolutions?
I don't, because I enjoy goal setting whatever time of year it is. So it really doesn't bother me at all. But I do like that we're future pacing it into January.
We're assuming January has come and gone and we're all safe. So I love it. I love the mindset here. Let me ask you this first, because you said goal setting, I said resolutions. Are they the same thing? Because I think people look at them differently. What's your perspective?
I do think people look at them differently, but for me, I use them interchangeably, because ultimately, what do you want to accomplish? And both are going to be the outcome that you're aiming for. So the other adding to that, how committed are you to it? And if the word goal is something that you don't look at and you think, well, I'm really inspired by that. But if I made a resolution, if that word holds different weight to you, even as I say it, it's a goal, it's a resolution, it's a declaration. I am committed. As you change your energy toward it, as you change your tone toward it, it's going to change how motivated and inspired you are to accomplish it.
I can already tell this is not a step-by-step conversation, because we're talking about energy and intentions, and I love it. So tell me this, it's the end of January as this is going live. We looked up a weird, fun stat. I'll let you share it, but why do most people fail on their goals by February?
That is absolutely fascinating. So the two things that I came up with was, according to Forbes, 94% of people will abandon their New Year's resolution. And according to another one, research shows nearly 80+% of people admit to abandoning their New Year's resolution. And for me, knowing what I know and the background of how I've come to work toward my goals, there's a lot of self-sabotage that can be going on. Aside, yes, absolutely, life events occur. But a lot of the time, self-sabotage is driving the bus as to why people aren't accomplishing it.
Yeah, I think what was the word you used before we started recording? Those people are losers that quit. I'm kidding.
I did not.
Did not use that
Me
word.
those words.
You're going to get canceled because you came on this show.
Honestly, and I didn't even say it.
You see the power I hold just by hosting you? I can make you say things that you didn't actually say. I think this is great.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but let's dive in, because self-sabotage is it could be a buzzword. I know a lot of people use it, but I want to understand what you mean by that. Is it the last time you talked about the little voice in your head, that mean little voice? Is it that? Is it more complex than that? What does self-sabotage really look like for people?
There's a variety of drivers as to why you won't accomplish it. Ultimately, your subconscious is designed to keep you safe. And if you set a goal that makes you feel uncomfortable and it puts you outside your comfort zone, you will successfully sabotage yourself, because according to your subconscious, it's not safe to do that. So let's say you are from a family that happens to be overweight. And a lot of people set a New Year's resolution to lose weight. And for example, you set out to lose 50 pounds. Now, there may be a variety of contributing factors, one of which you can possibly self-sabotage. And I teach this to my clients in my work and in my workshops, because my specialty is around eating and around weight loss. So you come from a family that has a history of obesity. You've now decided that you want to lose weight for your health. You want to take better care of yourself. You want to nurture yourself in a variety of ways. There's a huge potential of you sabotaging yourself, because once you start to lose weight, you get a variety of attention, and it could be negative attention, especially from people in your family. Oh, you think you're better than us. Who do you think you are to be able to do that? Because ultimately, when you're succeeding at something, whether it's weight loss, whether it's making progress to your goal, and people outside of you start to feel their own inadequacy, they will project that onto you. And you will then often take it on and start to sabotage yourself, because in this example that I shared, when you separate your identity from your family, according to the subconscious, that's similar to death. And you do not want to be the one cast out of the tribe. What are you going to do if you don't have any people? Your subconscious will sabotage you because you're no longer like them. And that can result in not having any place to belong. And that's a really, really big thing for somebody to feel like. So when you're doing things like this, when you're losing weight, when you're starting a business, when you're working your way toward that, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure dollar goal, whatever the case may be, you want to connect with people who are quite literally on the same playing field with you, who are doing the same thing. Why? Because it's going to give you that sense of belonging. It's also going to help keep that motivation and that inspiration moving toward the end goal that you want. If you're moving outside your comfort zone, there is going to naturally be this response of, this feels uncomfortable. Oh my God, what am I doing? That's very, very normal. You want to surround yourself with people who are going, it's okay. This is completely normal. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep working at it. Read this book, pick this up, and keep working with people that are on the same frequency that you want to go to, that are on the same level that you want to go to, because you're going to quite literally rewire your entire nervous system to fire and wire the way that they are. If you are now navigating back in the circles where they're not talking about that growth mindset, where they're not wanting to take care of their health, where they're putting you down, where they're shaming you, where they're guilting you, where they're feeling their own inadequacy, they're going to sabotage you also, because you're no longer like them and you want to stay with them. So you really have to find your community and really build your tribe.
I love it. So we find a bunch of skinny friends to hang out with, and then we delete the numbers of all our family members. It sounds like that's a quick fix, but
you're such an extremist. My gosh.
Okay, but tell me I'm wrong, right? I mean, that's a solution, not the best solution, maybe, but
not the best solution.
A solution.
Yeah. A solution, you can. But even people, not even necessarily skinny, people who find their health important. And when we start to talk about health and self-care, our culture would love to separate it and put your self-care is over here with a bubble bath and a candle and feel better about yourself. Your nutrition is way over here and it's only food, and it has nothing to do with what else you're consuming, as in what social media are you consuming? What music are you consuming? What movies are you consuming? What conversations are you consuming? What news are you consuming? Nutrition is, what are you feeding yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically? It's very, very connected. And our culture would have you thinking that it's completely unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And although I was jokingly an extremist,
we still love you.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what part of what makes this show fun. But anyway, you did mention rewiring your brain, and I think that's something I want to dive into a little bit, because just outside of putting yourself in the right environment, which is of course crucial to see your success in any area, whether it's weight, in your business, it doesn't matter. How do you effectively rewire so that you don't fall back into those patterns? Because it's going to come up, whether you're trying to go from, $500,000 in revenue to 7 figures and beyond. Those negative thoughts, or it's actually not even a negative thought. Here's what I found in that context. The I'll just do it because I know how to do it thought is actually the most dangerous thought. in that growth path. So that's a business example. Weight, same thing. It's just one cookie, whatever it may be. How do you rewire so that's actually a negative thought and not a common thought?
There's a variety of ways. I know people have likely heard about affirmations or subliminal messages. For me, I found the most effective is to grab a journal and start writing down your thoughts. When you can raise your awareness of what you're thinking, what are the thoughts that are playing in the background, you're going to start noticing patterns, but you're also going to start noticing, is that true? How else might I look at this? Those questions, and especially when you're noticing and you're wanting to rewire your brain. So we use this phrase like, oh, it's so easy. Just plug in here and plug in there, as if it's, an old booth where you're just plugging stuff in. Rewiring is truly constantly happening. You're breaking down your own thoughts, you're shifting your own thinking, and you're creating new neural pathways so that you think a different way. Sounds super simple. And for some people, it can be very simple. For other people, they have a different journey, whether it is through listening to audios, or it is working with a coach, or it is figuring out and looking at what you do and why you're doing it and how else might you do it differently. It can be extraordinarily powerful. There are tons and tons and tons of ways. And that's a great thing, because then you can look at it like a smorgasbord. How else might I think of things? What else might work for me? So thankfully, we don't have the same mindset that we had at 18 years old when we're 28 and when we're 38. So how has that occurred? How is that evolution occurring? Especially when we start to notice, you know what? I really want to improve this about myself. I really want to break past into this new financial bracket. I really want my company to be able to do this. When you're thinking those thoughts, here's the key. What are the thoughts that are coming up in the background? What are the negative thoughts? What are the other voices, the less than positive supportive voices that are coming up? It might be, no, you can't do that. Who do you think you are to do that? You're not good enough for that. That's the gold, because you want to go after that. Well, why do I want to lean into those negative thoughts? Because A, they're thoughts. And B, you can change a thought. You can look at it from a different perspective. You can quite literally, and I teach my clients, the shift perspective. So the shift protocol, when we're looking at those quote unquote negative thoughts, less than positive thoughts, what you want to do, and I'll attach this so it's in your show notes. I'll give you the PDF for this. This is a shift protocol. SHIFT. When you notice a negative thought, first step, boom, you want to spot it. Raise your awareness to what your own thoughts are. That's why I say write stuff down. H is to hear it, and this is absolutely critical. When you hear the thought, whose voice is it? It might be a parent. It might be a teacher. It might have been the school bully when you were 8 years old. Whose voice is it? Who is telling you this thought, this sentence of information? It might be your voice. It might not be your voice. Next is I. You want to investigate that thought. How else might I look at this? The reason you want to investigate it, is it helping you? Is it hurting you? Because it's going to give you a lot of information. Absolutely. A limiting thought, a negative thought, a critical thought, by all means, as crazy as it sounds, it is helping you. It's keeping you safe. How is it hurting you? It's holding you back, probably. Next, you want to frame it. You want to look for evidence that can contradict this thought. Look at it from a different perspective. And if you're having trouble looking at it, who might you be able to think of that can come in? Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's a guardian angel. Who can come in to offer you that different perspective? Then F, frame it in a new way. T, trade it in for a new thought. Rather than, I hate my body, I'm the worst ever, or I'm not good enough to make $7 million. I'm not good enough to make this financial goal. You get to shift it. You want to spot that thought, hear whose voice it is, investigate it. Is it helping you? Is it hurting you? T stand, or F, my goodness, I can't spell today. F, you want to frame it for a different Frame it in a different perspective, and T, trade it in for new thought. I might not be there yet, but I'm learning and I can keep learning. Who else might I know that can help support me? We have these thoughts and we pick them up and we hold on to them as if they are law. They are as strong and as fierce and as permanent as gravity. But you absolutely can change it. When you can get that perspective, when you can quite literally investigate the thought, put it out on the table, look at it from a different perspective, you can have that separation from that emotional charge to it, and you can frame it and you can trade it in for one that helps you.
I love it. I love the methodology. And I want to give people permission if you're listening to this. So it's the end of January. Like we said, you're most likely part of the 80 to 94% who have already failed or quit at something. And that's fine, because if you've already given up, maybe you didn't care about it that much, or maybe you were keeping yourself safe. You were in the back of your brain keeping yourself safe. So let's wipe the slate clean. We'll eliminate all of our goals. February 1st, we're going to do an 11-month sprint now. Do we run through this framework as we're putting things to paper? Let's say I create a new goal. Let's use the easy one that everybody wants to do, the 7-figure milestone. Do you want people to run through this as they're writing the goals out and evaluate if it's even the right goal for them?
They can definitely do that. At the same time, what's important to them about accomplishing that goal? It's not for me to say that that goal is for them or not. They might want to make a ton of money. That's great. They might want to get their business to scale. They might want to bring it to market. Absolutely. How else can we shift our thinking? That's really what it comes down to, especially when people start to talk about how expansive we can become, how growth minded we can become. If we can look at our goals and look at them objectively and think, okay, how might I navigate this? How might I be able to accomplish it? Who might be able to come in to help me? When you're using the shift protocol at any point, and this is such a beautiful protocol that I teach people to use all the time. You can use it on the train. You can use it before bed. You can use it while you're brushing your teeth. How can you shift your thinking? That's all we're doing, is we're just shifting our perspective. And when we can shift our perspective from one that's hurting us to one that's helping us, we get back in the driver's seat. And that's much, much more helpful to us, because not only are we able to help ourselves, we then get the opportunity to help other people. So whether it's a 12-month sprint of what it looks like, write down what you want and then start to ask yourself some questions. And one of the words that I use all the time, because it's extraordinarily powerful, is the word might. Rather than going, how am I going to accomplish this? Oh my God, this seems impossible. Okay, well, notice the intensity of the tone that I just chose to look at this. Really heavy, really stressful. Oh my God, really overwhelming. Now, shift your tone and add the word might. How might I look at this? How might I start to accomplish this? Who might be able to come in to help me? Who might I meet in the next couple of weeks that can offer this expansive opportunity that this will make sense? We so desperately want to have this clear-cut, picture-perfect path, and we all think that this great goal is going to look like this gorgeous, straightforward, upward line. And that's not the case. A lot of the time it looks like a coil and you feel like you're going backwards and somehow you end up going forwards. And when you can notice that it's going to be an adventure, and you're going to get challenges and you're going to get pushed outside your comfort zone. And that's a great thing, because if you can look back on whatever day you're listening to this, you've survived every single challenge you've been up against. You wouldn't be here listening to this if you weren't. You absolutely survived. How can you keep getting better? What else might support you in accomplishing your goal? Add the word might to your questions and notice how expansive your thinking becomes.
I love that. That's a little gold nugget. I was thinking about trying to ask questions using the word might in a negative energy. I don't think you can do it. I think that's the secret sauce to that little tiny word, is you just can't you can't have a negative outlet. It's a word of possibilities. And I think that's the takeaway from this episode. If nothing else, well, all of what you shared was gold, but that little secret might just help some people achieve their goals this year. I love it.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
This flew by, went way too quick. There's so many more things to explore. And I assume you will be the first guest to come back a third time. We're just going to put that stake in the ground right now.
Love it.
Let's say
Thank
one
you
of
for
our
having me.
listeners is, oh, of course. Thank you for being here. Let's say one of our listeners is maybe driven to be better. Where should they go to learn more about you and how you can help them? See what I did there?
I love that, Liv. That was awesome. Simply visit me at driventobebetter.com. Best way to reach me, driventobebetter.com.
I have to say too, because you put out so much content on social media. We'll include all the show notes down below, all of the different places to follow. What's your favorite platform people should follow you on?
Ooh, that's a great one. LinkedIn and Facebook as of right now. I'm going to go adventure into the TikTok world though, so stand by.
Oh no, everybody be careful. She's going on TikTok. I got so far off of TikTok, so more power to you. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for being here. This was so much fun.
So good to see you. Stay well.
All right, listeners, wherever you are watching or listening, we want to make sure you subscribe and come back for more of this daily content. You can have more of this, more episodes about your mindset, achieving your goals. We talk about business, we talk success stories, all of those fun things, but you have to subscribe. We want to help you build a more harmonious business and life. We will see you tomorrow.